We are back at the Tokin Shop Lounge at the Benzinga Cannabis Capital here in Chicago. We are back from lunch. We need to fuel up. One thing about conferences is you get really worn out just chatting with so many folks, right? How has this conference been for you so far?
True. Yeah, really good. I mean, so many great people to connect with. I moderated a panel yesterday, and that was amazing, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback from that. So, yeah, and the panelists, you know, the sessions I've been to this morning have been
it's such great to hearing the insights from so many people in different facets of the industry, right?
Yeah.
Would love to learn a little bit more about what you do. Can you please share with us about who you are and what you do?
Yeah. So Sandra Bergman, and I'm with ESBE Marketing, and I started in cannabis in 2019, and I worked for two of the largest MSOs in Colorado doing their retail marketing. And when I was done with that, I decided to start my own business. Just saw a gap in the market of dispensaries not focused on customer retention, really focused on customer acquisition, but not retaining them.
Oh, yeah. They do so much, you know, the billboards, so you come, and then what happens next, right?
Yeah.
And I think they always blame it on the customer, right? The customer's fickle. But what are you doing for that retention, right?
Right.
It's so important that you focused on it too, because I do agree that the other marketing agencies don't have that niche, right?
Yeah.
So I think from your expertise of working with retail specifically, do you have 3 successful marketing strategies that you know have worked?
So I think number one is knowing what your brand is, right? And knowing what makes you you and why you're different and why people should choose your store or your brand. And I feel like so many people just skip right over that step, and it's so crucial. And because some people have really great brand stories that they can leverage, you know, about how they got started in cannabis and why they use cannabis. It could be a medical reason, you know, or they were incarcerated and now they're not, you know. So there's a lot of great stories out there that really people can buy into versus we just sell weed. You know, that is not defensible as a brand, right?
Yes.
Everyone can come in and say, we sell weed, or we have the best selection.
The best weed in the world,
or
right?
We have the best price, or, you know, and so you really need to carve out what is your niche and stick to it in everything you do. So I think that's number one. I think that's really foundational.
Niche down and know your audience.
Yeah. And secondly, I would say life cycle marketing.
Oh, what's that?
So that's something that, you know, we encounter every day in traditional retail, right? So coming back to, you know, get your abandoned cart, you know, when you were shopping for some brown boots and you left the cart, you know, you'll get an email or a message that says, hey, would you like to finish shopping? So that's one touch point. But I have about 20 different touch points that I look at along the customer life cycle, and just making sure that you're connecting with them at the right points. And it puts your connection with them in context versus just telling them about, this is our latest sale, right? So lifecycle marketing is reaching them at certain points in their customer journey, in their relationship with you, that are relevant and timely, right? So that could be their birthday and saying, hey, here's a 20% off coupon for your birthday. Or it could be, we haven't seen you in a while, you know, come back and shop with us.
And
here's what we have.
Yeah, it's very thoughtful.
It
follows, it's intentional, but it follows the life cycle of people instead of just kind of like, here's a random email, right?
Correct. It's very focused and intentional and segmented, right? And those are, you know, core marketing tenets. And I'm a lifelong marketer, so that's, you know, what I talk about. And the third thing would be loyalty. And focusing on what is your loyalty program, your customer retention strategy, and that all goes back to why should people shop with you and your brand and what you stand for and what you're giving people that they can't get anywhere else. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, all those 3 marketing tactics, you can actually see them in action. Like, I have seen those kind of emails come through where I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will look into that product because I feel like they understand me. Right?
Yep, it's personalized.
Right. So while there's so many great strategies out there are some strategies that are not so good. Do you have any ones that we need to be scrapping?
Well, so one I actually discovered here at Benzinga last year because I went shopping in the dispensaries here, and they're very kiosk forward here in ordering. And even though I'm in the industry and I know a lot about the products, whenever you go to a new state, there's new products, new brands, some things maybe you've never seen before, and there was no one to ask questions to because you're just guided to order from this kiosk. And
I think there's an understanding by some people that they feel like they're helping the customer by just making it easier for you.
I know,
but that's not the case with cannabis,
and I
right?
get that. I get it. Like when you have a regular and they know what they want and they're in and out, you know, or they place an online order and they want to pick up, great. Have that as an option. My experience in shopping here was that the kiosk was front and center, and that was the main way to buy. And it leaves no, and talk about branding, right? Like, how do you differentiate yourself with a customer experience for people if everyone's just going to a kiosk?
Wow, you're just kind of shuffling them in and being like, here you go.
Right,
It's a missed opportunity, right?
100%. Yeah. And the other thing, let's see, I took some notes. So, oh my goodness. So first-time customer discounts, pet peeve of mine.
Free weed, right? Take it all.
I know, like, and everyone's struggling so much. So you're just cutting into your margins needlessly. So my rule of thumb is if you're going to do that, then at least get their information, right? Get their email, get their cell phone, have them sign up for the loyalty program, but just to give them, just they walk in the door and here's 20% off.
It's short-term marketing, right? It's not playing the long game.
Well, and it makes no sense because they likely aren't going to come back, you know? So, and more importantly, you have no way to reach them.
No, they're just gone. They go in the wind, right?
Yes. It's terrible. And the other thing I would say, and I, come from a mature market in Colorado, and a lot of the locations have like these dark windows and bars, and it's, bars on the windows and these steel doors, and the lighting isn't great, and it's just not a welcoming, typical shopping environment.
No.
And no one would call a dispensary a typical shopping environment, but you layer that kind of on top of it, and people, it's awful. People just don't feel comfortable.
I think a lot of us in the cannabis industry, we're dealing with stigma. We're battling stigma all the time. So I think when retail can mimic, like you said, an ordinary shopping experience, it helps with that destigmatization, because if we're creating a cumbersome experience, one that is filled with confusion, right? That's not going to help the movement here, which is come to dispensaries, have your experience here and invest in us, right?
Yeah, and I've seen other newer markets not have that as much, which I love. That it's bright light and you can see in from the windows and all of that. So I don't know if that's just a carryover from being one of the first, the first with recreational sales or what, but we have a long way to go to improve that.
We do, but I remember the back in the day of just the dispensaries that were a hole in the wall. They didn't want to really be seen or noticed by other businesses, so they were trying to be on the low.
Right.
But now I've seen some truly beautiful retailers here, here in Illinois, but also of course California. Right. And it's been beautiful to see the evolution of the modern dispensary, right?
Yeah.
And so thanks for those do's and don'ts. Definitely want to end with a little bit of insight regarding all of these visits that you've been on. You've been on so many visits to visit retailers from across the nation, I'm sure.
Yep.
Would love some feedback on this. Tell me about your first time going to a legal dispensary, purchasing a product, and how has that experience really informed where you are now?
Oh, that's a great question. So, of course, it was in Colorado, and and I had young kids at the time. So I went in, and it was so weird because the first thing they say is, how do you want to feel? I think is, or what are you looking for? Something like that. And I'm like, can I talk about this? Like, I don't know, can I talk about getting high? It felt very awkward.
Wrong,
But so I said, I want something flower. I want something that helps me clean my house. And he is like, immediately, I got you. And he goes back and he gets this strain and he's like, this is all you'll need. And it was lovely. It was lovely. And so what I loved about that early experience was he really dialed in on, hey, how do you want to party? You know, it wasn't that. It was, you know, what do you need? What are you looking for from the plant? And of course, I had a very specific answer about cleaning my house, but you know, it's that focus, it's that energy, right? So, and I feel like that was really, I don't feel like even now I get that much from dispensaries.
Wow. No, what a first experience to get that level of intentional, like concierge service.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and be really focused about what is the effect that you want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of dispensaries I have been seeing kind of take that more of approach lately,
and
I think because they have to, and I think it's so special for customer retention as well, because they feel like a level of trust, right? They're building rapport, and they grow to really trust you, and they don't want to buy weed other places because they don't trust that they're gonna get you know what I'm saying? Like when you go to your beauty treatments and your person knows what you want, you know?
Right. Or is it just the bud tenders pushing on you what product is expiring so they have it on sale, or they're getting an incentive from the brand, you know? So yeah, I think you just need to be mindful of that when you go into dispensaries. It's hard for people that don't know that about dispensary shopping, though.
They don't. A lot of folks don't. But I think with this podcast series, people are going to be getting some serious knowledge. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Where can people follow your work and what you're doing?
I'm really active on LinkedIn.
Yes, you are.
So just Sandra Bergman.
I always
on
see
LinkedIn.
your Bob in the LinkedIn, bobbing around with the great info. Be sure to follow her on LinkedIn.
Yeah. So, and then I have my website, ESBE Marketing, and always happy to talk customer retention anytime with anyone.
Hit her up, talk to the boss here to break down those strategies to really kill it here in the retail space. Thanks for joining us. Now back to the conference.